What's up, guys? Welcome to the Hustle Kitchen podcast. On today's episode, we are going to be covering marriage. I'm your host, Hussein Husseini. I'm with my co-host, Omar Rana. Now, if you are single and you're looking to get married, and you even want to know how to have an opening line when you're actually chatting with someone, Bahrain and the GCC have a new solution coming up from two women who actually know everything about matchmaking, and they're going to share amazing tips with you on how you can find your next partner.
All right, so Hussein and I have been talking about this app quite a lot. I'm very interested, but I want to hear from you guys. Tell us the 30-second version. What does this app do?
Okay, so if maybe I start right before why we did the app is because this is what Eman, Hussein, and I do.
We're matchmakers.
We're matchmakers.
That's our hobby.
How does one become a matchmacher? Why is this a hobby?
I think because we have a wide network of people that we know. We work in the HR field. We see people in and out every day. People trust us. They come to us and they're like, look, you meet new people every day. Can you help us find a partner for marriage? So
people just come up to you and say this.
Yes.
Well, we also approach people as well. So when we're like, oh, there's singletons in town, we're like, okay,
You just go up to them like, you look unhappy.
No, the first question is, are you single? And the second they say yes, that's it.
Yeah, I think they're used to that by now, right? When they see us, they're like, oh, here comes the question. Yeah, we're very blunt, Are you single? Are you looking to get married? Because, we have a database of single people.
Well, can I ask, did you guys always have this passion, or was it only after you got married?
Oh, good question.
Well, we met, I think we were married when we met, right? And when we actually started this hobby. So, I think it happened after we were married, but I don't think it's connected that we were married or we weren't married in any way.
I ask because I have the theory that married people want to see other people as miserable as they are.
This is a Seinfeld.
I think that depends what kind of marriage you have. I don't know about you, Eman, but I'm very satisfied and happy in my marriage. So and I want more people to have marriage full of love and a partner that's their best friend. But I don't know, what about you? What is that?
Yeah, no, exactly. I thought it was just something we sort of started to do when people started coming to us and we started approaching people, and as soon as we started matching people, we're like, oh, okay, this actually works, and then I think the more we saw people get matched, the more we wanted to do it. So it just sort of evolved from there.
Yeah.
What's your success rate?
With
matching people?
We've matched a lot of people, but I don't think we really have. We haven't really kept track.
We have matched a lot of people, close people to us as well. Yeah. So close relatives of ours as well, close friends. So
interesting.
Yeah.
And through that, a lot of people, years before, kept on asking us, why don't you guys create a website?
Oh, really?
And we would happily register on your website. It would be a really good idea, and we would toy, around that idea. Like, okay, yes, that might be a good idea, but we'd never actually ever gotten serious until last year, I think, where we thought, okay, maybe it is time that we actually took this to the next level.
Because we did actually create an application form. It was a Word document that we started sending out to people to fill out. They'd send it back to us. Yeah. And then so when, we bounced this idea about, and we're like, what, why not create an actual, app that does all the hard work for us and does all the matching for us. So instead of us trying to match people like for like, it just kind of...
So what kind of information do you have to give in order for it to do the magic?
Well, are you talking about the app or in general?
Or generally, actually both.
In the app at the moment, it's quite comprehensive. It's kind of based on 5 different categories, which is lifestyle, personality, career, and income, appearance, and one more. What's the word? And cultural values. So, and in each of these categories, there's a set of questions that you have to actually complete about yourself and about your partner, what your preference is in a partner within those categories.
And the basic or the most important questions are those that we were actually basing our actual matching on. So we thought, okay, these are the questions that we always ask to match people. So why don't we just plug that into this app?
So can I say, like, I'm amazing, I'm looking for someone amazing?
No,
Not
like
exactly. Not exactly. I mean, the basic questions are actually questions that have come from people that we've actually matched. What was important to them, and we've kind of integrated that
and
into
in the
the app.
region specifically.
Okay.
So, I mean, their marital status, have they been married before? Are they divorced? Do they have kids? What their lifestyle or the basic lifestyle is, in terms of religion and whatnot. So there's a lot of those kind of elements.
What was the toughest question that you had to like think, oh, should we add this one in, or I'm not sure? You must have had that moment.
I think most of the questions just made sense to us because it's what we match people on anyways. The other stuff are like, your personal preferences, you may. So that's where, you could be like, oh, I'm sometimes this or that. So that might be,
Oh, so you've got the option. It's not definitive, like I am just rigidly this one thing. You've got the option of being a range.
In some of the questions when it comes to personality and traits. So those, yes, there are options on those.
But in general, a lot of the questions that people usually asked or had a preference on that actually really emphasized on was background, religion, ideology, education, appearance, whether we like it or not. That is another one to an extent. Men always had certain appearances they wanted to go for, and the same with women. It was a lot of things around that as well.
So is this like the Tinder for Bahrain?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's the last thing we want to be associated with. So not that there's anything wrong with Tinder. Tinder is great, and I think it's quite successful in what it does. But it does have, in the region, and I don't know if elsewhere, especially in Bahrain, it does have this connotation that it's mainly for hookups. And we really want to be associated with, it's a marriage dating app. So unless your intention has to be marriage to be on this app. So you want to really build serious connections. And that's how we differ with Tinder, right?
Yeah. And it's not just for Bahrain, it's for the GCC.
For the GCC, sorry, the GCC. No, because I know a lot of girls that use Tinder, and they're like, you just can't find anyone serious on this thing. And I'm like, are you surprised? You're on Tinder.
That was another motivation why we wanted to create this app, because a lot of, especially girls and women, they keep complaining that, the dating apps that they've had experiences with have been mainly for hookups. They can't seem to get any men out there that are actually serious about building serious relationships, about marriage, and that's why ours is very much so emphasized on marriage.
Interesting. Is there an age range that people normally, like, you would say, approach you in real life that this suits? Or is it like, yo, bro, anybody?
I need to get married.
I'm intrigued.
You'd be surprised.
Well, I'd say it ranges between the 20s to 40s.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And we've had older as well.
Oh,
We've had
really?
older as well.
What's the top?
The eldest I think we've had was in their 60s.
Is a widower?
Actually, never been married as well.
So, same. Is it not 60 yet?
I have time
You
left.
have time?
There's still hope for me yet.
I mean, there's no age limit.
There's no age limit.
And
I think Eman actually has had a success where she did match it was a Bahraini lady in her 50s, never
Really?
married, and got married.
That's a tough one. How old was the guy that she married?
Sounds like some gossip here.
Actually younger.
Younger?
Yeah.
Was she rich? Just asking.
No, not in particular. I mean, she was well-to-do, but I wouldn't say like rich. But her partner was well-to-do as well. So.
Can I ask, if you were allowed to share, what suddenly made her change her mind at 50?
I don't think it's that she changed her mind. Well, Eman, you know her more, so
for it. I just don't think with relationships in general, it's it could take some time to meet the right person, so it doesn't have to do.
I'll ask what I think is the question that everyone in the back of their mind is what I would be as a villain. Like, was she horrific as a human? Like 50?
No, I mean,
So she was a nice person as well.
Yeah, I just think sometimes you just you're not in the right circles, you're not looking in the right places. And, when you least expect it, it just happens.
And sometimes the circumstances were never right? Maybe
we're
they've
just
had
here to
other
facilitate
priorities
that.
in their life, where
Marriage
wasn't
wasn't
an
a
option
priority.
maybe at the time.
But I gotta say, like in the GCC, generally it's harder to go out and meet people unless you're working with them.
You have to be introduced.
You have to be
I think
introduced.
it's all
And that's the
anything.
thing.
You have to be introduced. You can't walk up to them like, yo, bro, unless you're two ladies trying to do a marriage app. Asking someone, are you single, seems unlikely.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is like a great reason to have an app like this. But I have to ask the question that probably everyone is wondering, like privacy. Are we sharing pictures like Tinder?
No. So we had the cultural aspect that we looked at as well. So we thought, in this GCC, we put ourselves in everyone else's shoes, and through our matching experience, a lot of times people are hesitant towards, revealing last names, towards revealing their pictures.
Yeah.
So we put all of those things into this app. And, the app, you sort of build like an avatar sort of profile pic. So it's not your actual picture. And only when you feel comfortable, you can actually unlock your picture for people to see. So there's that element of privacy.
So, like, when do you see a match and then you start talking to them? Like, how does that work?
No, it's always optional for them to actually reveal their real photos, but it's there as an option. But
No, let's say I'm on the app and then how do I get matched?
right. So so basically, you get matched based on your compatibility percentage. So, there's an overall compatibility percentage, and then there's percentage of how compatible you are in the 5 different categories. So you will see all these matches. You'll be able to see, if you're a paid subscriber, you'll be able to see, a little bit more about their profiles. And then if you want to connect, you press, connect. And then if the other side also
So they get a request.
Yes. And then you'll be able to chat and see full profiles of each other.
Interesting.
So based on compatibility, is it like a percentage match? It can't be everything, right? Because
It's not
there's no
everything.
perfect human being out there.
Yeah.
Well, I disagree.
Well, perfect for you,
Well,
but not perfect for an algorithm.
I mean,
Mr. Perfect.
I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm saying the
But
person
someone
I'm about
who's
to marry
perfect
is
for you.
perfect for me.
Yeah. Look, our algorithm, it's quite a scientific algorithm. It's quite a complex one. And yes, there are weightages and, into the different categories and the distributions. There are some questions that are deal breakers. So, where you won't get matched with certain questions if you don't match. But other questions, you'll still get matched, but the percentages will be lower. Yeah.
So what's an example of a deal breaker?
So religion.
Religion? Okay.
Unless you have no preference, obviously.
Oh, so if you put like, this person needs to be Zoroastrian.
Yeah, then you
have
can
to be
only be with a
Zoroastrian.
Zoroastrian.
Okay.
Yeah.
So religion is one of those based on our matching experience, that's something that people don't really,
Bend?
yeah.
People convert.
Unless you're willing to convert,
There's a
yes.
convert
Is there an option for I believe we live in the Matrix?
That's a nice one. Maybe we should consider that one, Eman. Currently, we don't, but there's a lot of room for improvement. So
I've met a lot of people who recently believe we live in the Matrix.
Oh, really?
A lot.
I think you're hanging around the wrong circles, mate.
Or the right side.
Exactly.
I don't know about that.
The new movie's coming out soon. I think it'll be a topic of conversation.
Okay.
So you're going with the trend, basically.
No, I mean, I read a lot about philosophy and theology and conceptual ways at looking at time. I'm just saying boredom to tears. With
I actually really love those kind of conversations.
This is
so
like going down a deep rabbit hole,
It is, but essentially, there's a forming question: why is a stone a stone? And if you can answer that, then it takes you to an interesting place.
We've been having that conversation for years. I just don't ask him this question anymore.
So yeah, it's not a trend thing. It's innate belief. Not belief, question. Innate question.
Innate question.
So guys, what if someone's already married? Is there an option for a second wife on this app?
Oh, what a question!
It's realistic.
I mean, it came up in the news recently. Some dude did it recently.
What, second wives? Happen all the time.
Really?
We're Muslim, we're allowed to marry 4, right?
Well, if anyone can handle more than one,
Well,
then
that's
that option is there.
That's just what women say. To detract you.
At the end of the day, the app was built with, with having the Khaliji or the GCC culture in mind, and the sensitivities in mind. So, a big part of the religion is that men can have more than one wife. Maybe it's not something I personally promote, but who are we to judge? So, we're not here to judge, and this is an app for the GCC region. So, to answer your question, yes.
Random question. Is if someone has kids already,
Yes.
is that a deal breaker or is that an optional option on the app?
If
Like for example, like someone's already got kids, and you're like, actually, is that even a question?
Yeah,
Is
there
it
is a
okay?
question,
Is it okay
yes.
if they have kids?
Yeah, there is a question.
But there is a question on children. Do you have children? Yes, no. How many children do you have?
Do you ask how well behaved are your children?
That no,
Are
but
they the type that scream like drop on the floor in public? Because I feel like that should be a question.
maybe for phase 2.
Yeah.
See. but for your preferences, yes. Do you mind having a partner who has children? Yes or no?
Yes.
No
Is
preference.
that a like a deal breaker question, or is that like okay, we'll just weight it down or up?
Yeah.
So it's part of the marital status as well, right? So if someone is okay with being married to, or being matched with someone who's already been married or is divorced or widowed or whatever it is, then, obviously that's something that could be a possibility. So
I think the person they choose, like I'm open to someone who's got kids, so it's deal breaker if you want it to.
No, I'm just mean like if they're not okay, will the match still appear?
no.
Okay, so that is like a critical question.
You're
Unless
clearly
you're no
vetting
preference.
this for yourself.
Well, of course, gotta keep your options open.
Can I fill in his form?
Unfortunately
Do you know it
not.
that well?
I think I do. I think I do.
He once wrote my Tinder profile.
I
I got 0 matches from it.
It's Tinder not working, and that was hilarious. Objectively, that was hilarious.
He said I write cards for left-handed people or something like that.
That was brilliant. So, do you have a profile, like a couple of lines to say who you are, or it's more extensive than that? Like, do you have the I write cards for left-handed people bit?
There is a bit where they could type out like a little bit of a bio about themselves, but otherwise, it's mainly what they've sort of chosen as a preference.
And do you two, like, if they I don't know what to do, I don't know what to write, can they talk to you to get help? How does that work? Or if you just don't know what to say?
Well, there's the Instagram page, so if anyone needs to reach out, they can reach out.
You mean like consulting or
No, I just
matching?
mean like
like customer service, you mean?
No, I mean just like I don't know what to say. Like on my bio, I'm just like I'm not good at writing.
Oh, that we're not available. I mean, we're founders of the company, but no, we're not like
So is there like
available
inspiration on the Instagram page about like tips and stuff like this? How to be a normal human?
on our Instagram page.
You're very obsessed with people being a normal human. Like, what sort of weirdos you hang out with that you're like, I want to make sure he's a normal human?
No, I mean, I'm saying that to be light on the topic, but it's more like you know how to write because it's part of your work, and all of us, we have to write professionally. There's a lot of people who don't.
True, but they can always get advice from their friends, friends who know them really well, how to summarize themselves. They can go online.
Yeah, like people who know them best.
Yeah, exactly. Like
profiles.
Hussein, and you would guide him.
It's a new job opening.
Yeah.
Consulting for Na9eebi.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I think there is that on Tinder. Like people who go say, "I will write you a killer profile." I'm sure it's on Fiverr.
I'm assuming. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
Tinder's really useless
So
here.
you put your pictures on and then it's private, and you choose to unlock it.
If you want, with the person that you connected with.
Because I would have thought picture is like, I mean, to me it's a deal breaker. As in, how many people am I going to chat with? And then it's like, oh, it's a catfish. I've had those experiences, where you chat for a week, and then you see what they really look like, and you're like,
Yeah, but I think that's
I just wasted a week.
It's terrible. It's terrible. But I guess it is a salient point.
It's like on the profile.
A deal breaker, like aesthetically, they have to be like this, or I'm just not gonna it's not gonna work.
So there is a preferences in terms of profile. And
So if you put there's a preference, are you going to meet someone who's not in your preference physically?
So you'll get the percentage match.
So will you know where that percentage is? Like, is it 80% match
Yes.
on aesthetics?
Exactly.
Ah, okay. So you're not going to have that problem then.
Yeah.
maybe.
No, but it's just people describing themselves. Everyone's beautiful in their own eyes.
Yeah.
That's true. Look, I mean, you're not always
Yeah.
gonna get 100% the right match, or but this is what dating is about. You meet people. It's gonna work out great. You take it to the next level. It doesn't work out.
Yes.
You meet someone else. It's no different to real life.
Did you hear in China
dating?
there was that billionaire who divorced his wife because he was very into the aesthetic, and then she turns out to have had a lot of surgery to create that aesthetic.
Okay.
And then when
You
they
can do
had
that these
kids, yeah, you can. But when they had kids, it was like, what's wrong with these children? And then he found out she'd had surgery and divorced her. He was like, I was
No
wearing
way.
jeans and you're not that.
Oh,
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
that's hilarious.
I guess he was taking it very seriously. Because genetics do matter. When you mix ethnicities, they're a stronger child
Yeah.
in every way imaginable.
Well, he's
Yeah.
stuck with those kids now.
Very clearly.
So did he? Is he not with the? I mean, has
No,
he
he
disowned the
divorced her.
kids as well?
I don't know. The press didn't really carry much. So he did divorce her.
Okay.
I know that they carried that
That's
much.
unfortunate. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, it was unusual. It's a rare case.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a rare case. But filters these days, they make that whole.
Oh my God,
much
okay,
worse.
okay.
Like,
Filters
even
are worse.
Even if you put a picture up,
I was
like,
just
filters, bro.
I was just gonna say this. Like, you never know what anyone looks like today when you're looking at their pictures online because of all the filters.
Do you use filters?
I don't use filters.
Oh, really?
I don't use
Okay,
filters.
okay.
I don't put my makeup on before I go online, But yeah, like the filters are really a game changer. Like,
Yeah. What do you two think about that? Like, is it okay to put a photo on the app where you use heavy filters off one of the fancy platforms?
I mean, look, personally, I think if you're on a dating marriage app, try and stay as real as you can, because you really, you want to be matched with someone who actually wants you for who you are, right? So if you're going to put all filters and then it's not to the liking of that, of your match, then you've kind of wasted your time. You've wasted their time.
Yeah.
So why do you want to do that?
you've
But then
wasted 2 weeks in this
You,
case.
you say that, but then, I mean, the argument could be made. I'm not making the argument, but I'm saying somebody could say, then what's the difference between that and makeup?
No, there's
What?
a difference between.
What would it be? Because I could show you a couple of pictures. You could Google it now and say before and after of makeup, and they're wildly different people.
Yeah, but they could always wear makeup, right? But they can't be, filter their face in real life. So you have that.
Yeah,
element.
with
No,
makeup.
but-
Still.
Actually, you could do that. You do the filter,
But
then
can
you
I
get
say, on that point, like I've met models with use filters online, and in real life they're wearing makeup, and yet they look completely different.
Well, okay, so that person does bad makeup, but there's some people who could apply their makeup the same way one of these filters does. Put a couple of contact lenses, do makeup. What's the difference then?
That's true. I mean, you do have a point there. I mean, at the end of the day, I think for most women, they love to wear makeup, but you wear different women wear makeup. Some people wear heavily, others don't. I mean,
It's
I mean, it's
beautiful
just-
for themselves, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not,
and if it really means that much for the guy, it's they wanted that girl with that full makeup. I mean, the girl can always just put on her makeup all the time.
I was gonna say that because my theory was if that's how you meet them, that's how they should stay.
Oh wow, really?
Look,
So you-
in
you
terms
were
of
gonna say-
what you're talking about, and specifically in
Okay.
terms of what you're
Let's
talking
give
about,
some niche explanation.
this
now.
like the heavy like
Oh, yes.
360-degree
Yes,
change
yes.
with and without makeup.
Yes.
It's either always wear it or don't wear it, or
So-
reduce it so we know what you actually look
Okay,
like.
so have you remained as fit in the same physical
Absolutely
condition
not.
the whole? So then what's the
Absolutely
difference?
not.
You're going to maintain that look? That's an unfair standard to set for
Absolutely.
another person unless you're willing to
Right.
do that.
I'm just talking from bad experience.
What you should keep in mind is that I believe in equality. If you want to push a rule on someone, that's a two-way street.
No, honestly, there is like levels, right? So there's with makeup, without makeup, it's normal. But then there's what you're talking about, where you look like a completely
Oh,
different person. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that-
Not-
which
not the-
that's a
not the basic
minority,
stuff.
right? That's a minority.
Yeah.
There's
How
only a
different
handful.
can
Yeah.
you look?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think men know. I didn't know until fairly recently if someone was wearing makeup or not, but some women were laughing, you just don't know. So can you always tell when someone's wearing makeup? I don't think we know.
Not if they're wearing the natural type of
Do you
makeup.
know what that is?
Yeah.
I think we're being
It's like foundation
I think
and stuff,
some
I guess.
people are very good at it. Like, oh look, that's really nice. Like, she's wearing makeup though. Is she?
Women are always quick to judge that.
I don't know if either of you two are wearing makeup now.
Oh, you can't tell? I can't. This is all natural. I don't know about you.
Is this not? I thought this was.
Yeah, of course, it's all natural.
Yeah. How am I supposed to see? You say the question. How, I was given some advice about this. The only because I had this problem. I was told you should go on a first date, take someone swimming.
Oh my God.
But there's waterproof makeup.
Look at you.
It's a thing.
You're
It's
a
a
woman
thing.
from prepared, I guess.
So I get the impression that for you two, appearance seems to be a big factor when it comes to
My
finding
youth,
your
perhaps.
soulmate. Is it?
For me,
Because you
it's
seem to
not.
have a
For
lot
him,
of
I know it's a
emphasis.
huge thing.
Oh my! Absolutely, in my youth, I may have made that mistake now. But I think this is why I was asking: at what age do you find the people appropriate? Because at least for myself, the truth has been ages has shown me that probably need some deeper connection than being aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like we've actually done surveys as well before we did the app, and to our surprise, majority of the men find that personality is actually the number one thing and not appearance when it comes
Is this
to
an
finding.
anonymous form?
Sorry,
Is this an anonymous form?
it is an
No, I
anonymous.
was trying to say, are they all men?
No, I said like
People filling this form, like my name's on this form. I should
No,
recognize
it is anonymous. No, it's anonymous. It's anonymous, and that we were pretty surprised
Yeah.
by that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we would have thought men, appearance was always number one, and we actually found a lot of more women chose appearance.
Do you publish any of
Then-
this insights anywhere?
No,
No, we
I
don't.
feel like you should. It'd be really interesting read. Like I think relatability is probably one of the most common things that people search for in life. So if you can say, look, I'm a 50-year-old lady, which I clearly am. I'm a 50-year-old lady, and it's now my time. I'm going to find my jam man. But like, how many other people might I feel isolated? I think there's a lot of insights that you could share with people.
for sure.
We can, and the beauty about the app is you also get to prioritize. So let's say an appearance is a priority, you get to put that on the top out of the 5 criteria. So then the weightage on appearance is what is the most.
Interesting.
So you get to play
I really
around.
want to make your profile, bro.
No, you stay
You need to
away
get
from my
permission
profile.
first,
but you're right. I think the reason you probably have that as a statistic, because I think the older people get, the less appearance is important to them. And probably, I don't know, but probably in your questionnaire, you're asking people more towards their 30s and 40s.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. We've had people in 20s.
I think we're just old men now.
We've
so-
had
20s,
I think times have changed,
I think
guys.
times have changed.
Yes,
Yeah, we're
times
just
have
old.
changed. Especially, I think the new generation, it's all about clicking and connecting and the
Yeah.
personality rather than, I would say, the more superficial.
I mean, look, the one thing you're doing right, okay, is
Just the
because like this is a big thing. Like because you're not sharing the picture initially,
Yes.
and that gives people time to chat, and then they can actually connect. Because when you're using Tinder, you just swipe left.
Yeah.
You don't even give them a chance.
I do. I wouldn't mind.
You're a Bumble guy, right?
I'm about to get married, guy. No, but Bumble, from a business side, I think you guys are doing something very interesting. Did you hear about how Bumble started?
Yes, I did.
So, what do you think about that whole journey? And did that inspire you into what you're doing?
Well, I mean, it wasn't. I definitely have a lot of respect, I think, for the founder of Bumble and, putting women first and women basically making the first move and empowering women. And I think a lot of ways we're also doing that because when we created the app, we really had, we were really thinking of women in the heart of the app in terms of, making them be comfortable to use the app, things that they actually kind of, look for within the app. Our developers that developed the app were a team of women, so that they could really, so that we could get their insight into what's actually important for women when it comes to dating. Because I think, especially in this region, women tend to be more shy when it comes, being bold in the
Well, in approaching
dating.
guys.
In approaching guys.
I don't think anywhere in the world women approach guys directly.
Oh, that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true.
Unless you're Omer, you know, like who always gets approached.
If you grew up in London, it happens all the time. It's not that rare.
Okay.
No, but culturally in the GCC,
Yeah, it's a cultural thing,
it's
right?
less common. I think if you're a local, it's less common. If you're a foreigner, like, it happens. But if you're from here, I think there's much more the stigma of we don't know who's connected to who in what way. But if you're totally not from the community, people say anything random to you.
Yeah. We basically wanted to empower women to feel safe to be on this app and to meet people.
Yeah.
So what does that practically mean? Let's give someone something actionable. What does safety mean? How are we delivering that?
So, like I said, I think there's no last names that are shared. Your profile pic is an avatar that you've created, so it's not your actual face. And you know, you get to put your preferences. You have the full choice to choose what your preferences are, the categories that you prioritize, and then you can choose to actually chat with people or not. So you can actually reject or not want to chat with somebody. You know, women have the full authority to do whatever they want.
So why hasn't this happened before? This sounds like a wonderful idea.
That's a good question. We keep asking ourselves that all the time, why no one has actually created such an app.
It seems like everything you're saying makes sense. But like, how is it taking all this time?
Yeah, and I mean, I get this all the time. By the way, if you see with women, normally it's like, where are the good guys at? And with guys, it's like, where are the women at? You know, everyone's asking the same question, just on either side.
Oh, really? But I think that's such a weird question, personally, wasn't it? No one's all good or all bad. We're all both.
As in looking for someone who's committed, someone who wants a serious relationship. You know, someone who's interested in marriage. Yes, but yeah, because I mean, Bahraini women tend to, or Khalijis in general, tend to look for a serious relationship that's going to eventually end in marriage. And so, when you're going on apps like Tinder or whatever, just to meet people, you're not exactly fishing in a pond of people that are looking for commitment, you know?
Yeah. And on that note, also, you know, there's a lot of GCC nationals that don't live in the GCC, they live abroad. So this was basically for us to kind of reach out to those people.
Oh, so you don't have to be in the Khalij for this to work.
No.
You could be anywhere and you're still...
So long as you're from the GCC, anywhere, or you are non-GCC residents living in the GCC, you have.
Okay, I thought that was Khaliji in the Khalij.
No, so it's for GCC nationals in the Khalij or abroad, and it's for non-GCC nationals that reside in the GCC.
Okay.
So you have to be connected to the GCC in some way.
And this has happened to people that you might not physically see in your country or out and about, but they actually exist somewhere in the world.
Somewhere.
And the other thing, just I wanted to add to the safety aspect of the app. So we do have a team where should people actually face people that are harassment or people that are who are not who they're claiming to be, they can report this and we will investigate and we'll take the necessary action. So there will be that element to it as well.
Policing.
Yes.
Community
where
policing.
It's a community.
Like
yes,
reporting.
where it's flagged.
Oh, so flagged and then...
and then you look into it.
It really is just, it's in your full control. So you shouldn't feel scared by it. Interesting.
Yeah.
How are people taking, have you got feedback from people about the idea?
I think a lot of positive
feedback. Yeah.
The app is really easy to use, so that's a nice feature in it. You don't feel tired while you're actually filling it out, so it's not like an actual application form. I think people are just excited about the algorithm working, and they're so excited to see the match and how it actually works and matches people.
I'm really intrigued. So this stuff didn't exist when I was young.
You had to actually talk to people.
Yeah, but you say that, isn't that the whole point of this app? Because talking to people isn't always an option.
Yeah, and I think everyone in this world today, everyone's like a chat-based person anyway. Yeah. And people don't even like phone calls anymore.
Yeah, I mean, especially even after the pandemic hit, I think, with all everyone's at home and isolating and, there isn't much of interaction with, the different zones that we're in. So I think this was also, that's where the online kind of...
Is that a question? Are you vaccinated?
No. They can chat and,
They
get
can
to know
find
each
out
other
for
better.
themselves.
Do
You
you
have
think
to
that
leave
will-
some mystery.
Yeah. Do you think that'll be a topic of conversation? Like, so let's say two people have matched. Like, do you think they'll ask, "Are you vaccinated?"
I think they would at some
I
point.
I hope not. I hope not.
Maybe a
You know?
conversation.
It's just a
opener.
normal. It's a natural part of a conversation, not to assess if we're a match, but something that you actually nowadays you just ask, right? Yeah, it
Yeah.
comes up.
It's become a boring small talk conversation,
Yeah.
by the way. Every time you meet
Yeah.
someone, so what do you think
It's like
of
the
Corona
weather
thing?"
conversation, right? It's an icebreaker, like the weather conversation. Now we have the
Well, okay, so you two are
vaccinations.
experts in this. What's a good icebreaker?
That is a fantastic question.
Yeah.
I would love a woman's point of view on this because I struggle every time. I try different lines
I
every
gave
time
you
on
the left-handed
left-hand card people. Yeah.
Like, what are your hobbies? What kind of music do you enjoy?
No, it's like, how do you open the conversation?
Open the conversation. Yeah. How do you start that gem?
That's true.
And then
Is
ask
it the
about
first
hobbies.
time you're meeting someone?
You're on your app,
Oh, on
you're
the
about
app.
to chat.
On the
You're
app.
about to chat.
Yeah.
What do you say? Hello?
Because anyone can start the conversation, right? It's not ladies
Yeah.
first.
No, anyone
So,
can start.
which means it's going to be men first.
Not necessarily. You never know. Now I think a lot of women are making.
So
the
we'll
first
have to
move.
invite you guys back and get some data on
Listen,
that.
women always say hello. Men try to come up with
The
some
story. All right.
effort,
So tell us,
Yeah.
what should a man who's having to make the first conversation, what should he say? Give
Obviously,
some
I think
tips.
something around, their percentage matches has been high. Just wants to get to know them a little bit better.
That's interesting. We're a 70% match.
Send it to Eman. You'll be like, oh, this is a great conversation on that. Eman.
Let's focus
We
on
are
that.
70% match.
You're from Bahrain, and I'm from Bahrain too, and we have a lot of matches.
Hey,
and,
I noticed I put my filter setting to Bahrain only.
No.
My filter setting.
It's going to be like, hey, baby, I love your avatar.
Oh my god. Somebody needs to give him some tips.
Or keep him out of
This is the
the
first, take Eman, second Eman or first Eman, I don't know who's Eman.
Well, I mean, my advice would be okay. Think of a topic that really interests you,
Always look like
and then open that up and say, well, what do you think of this and this and that? And then see if the other side actually has that common interest, because then that would be a good conversation to kind of kickstart the relationship with.
So if they're
Fully
interested,
agree.
then
Very.
they'll take it further.
And go really niche as well.
Yeah.
Like, be really specific.
So with Omar, it must be like, so do you like robots?
Oh, that's so funny you say that.
Or what do you think? Do you think we live in the Matrix?
The robot comment is that when I got engaged, my very dear friend spoke to my fiance and said, you never have to worry about women coming up to him, because whenever they do, he talks to them about robots. Yeah, we laughed forever, but it's very true. If someone does come up to me, I will talk to them about robots, because I have no romantic interest. So if that's not going to be there, we're going to talk about robots.
Well, I think that's a good idea. If you don't have a romantic interest, then definitely.
So I love the passion thing. So do you, what kind of thing, like work passion, personal life
Like, for
passion?
example, maybe I would start with, have you had an astral projection experience?
What a good opener. God,
And if they even know what that means, yeah.
Someone's listening to this saying, what the hell do I say? This lady doesn't have an example.
Yeah. So if they even know what that means okay, we can actually converse. There's something
So that's a
there's-
beautiful thing that you've touched on there about essentially not being afraid to be you.
Yes,
Absolutely.
exactly.
I think that's because it almost could feel daunting to say, astral protection. What have you got to lose? They don't know your last name. There's no picture. You can
Exactly.
just honestly be you. And if they don't like it, they don't
Absolutely.
like it. That's
Exactly.
better for you. You're
Exactly.
filtering out the people who aren't going to work. So you don't have to worry about aesthetics the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can ask about left-handed people.
Do you like left-handed people? Is that the question?
The goal of that is
Yeah.
the absurdity.
I know.
I mean, the whole point of the app is to be matched with like-minded people, right?
Love
So, I mean, that's one of the main aims of what we've had in mind when we created the app.
So how many people can you talk to at the same time?
Oh, good question.
It's unlimited,
At the
unless
same
you go
time.
exclusive.
You can go exclusive.
What does that mean?
So, do you want to?
Go for it.
I mean, so if you go exclusive and the other the other person accepts, then you won't be able to chat with anyone else, because then it means kind of
A virtual ring. You've put a virtual ring on.
Put a virtual ring on it.
Yeah.
It's like a Beyonce song playing.
yeah.
So when you were thinking about these features, was this all just like obvious to you guys, like, yo, we should put an exclusive feature on this, or did it take time to develop?
It's taken us a year. I mean, you know.
More or less, yeah.
So this is some real like effort that's gone into this.
When are you planning to launch?
Very soon. So right now, I don't know if you know, we've done the app, the iPhone beta
iOS.
testing, the iOS beta testing, and we're hoping this week we'll be able to do the Android testing.
Are you doing a pre-release download on iOS?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a beta. It's a test flight.
No. Before that, you can also do a notify if once it's ready on the store. You can get like pre-sign-ups.
Oh, well, basically what we're doing is if you actually sign up to test the app, then you get an automatic 3 months free subscription once we launch.
How does someone get this?
Well, if they apply now
So
Yeah.
apply now. So where would you do that?
on our Instagram page. So there's a link there.
Or on our website.
What is the Instagram?
This is a YouTube
Or our-
video, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere there's going to be a URL somewhere.
Yeah.
A pop up on the screen.
Pull the screen up kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, give me a pop up. Can we pop up here the
Yeah.
Instagram?
So what's the Instagram on the website? What's
It's
that?
Na9eebi.
How do you spell that?
N-A and then the 9. So that in Khaliji, the 9 is a slot.
S.
So
Seven's the only
Na9eebi.
one I remember.
Oh, that's a hat, right?
Yeah.
So E-E-B-I, Na9eebi.
Or you can go on our website as well, so na9eebi.com, and you can register there. And there's plenty of information about the actual app there as well.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And whoever is, following us on Instagram, we keep posting updates on that as well. So,
Oh, lovely.
yeah, they can be up to date on what's happening and when we're launching. And
Yeah.
And the app's in Arabic and English, I'm assuming.
right now it's in English.
It's in
It's-
English.
We're working.
Phase 2, where we're planning to have an Arabic
Is
version.
language an option? It's not. I mean, in chatting, not in chatting. Sorry, in matching. I've had horrible experiences where it's
What?
you keep matching and then you're like, I'm writing in English, they just reply in Arabic, and I'm like, I can't do Google Translate for the next week. It's like I think we should end this here. It's just not gonna work out.
So maybe the opener here would be, do you speak English?
Yeah.
Well, actually, part of one of the questions or preferences is, are you looking for a Khaliji chicken nugget?
Oh, lovely. Lovely
So
localization
usually,
there.
Yeah.
so a Khaliji chicken nugget, they're gonna speak fluent English. We have conservative Khalijis, and we have the cultural Khalijis, and then obviously we have no preferences. So if you don't fit into any
So
of
I
those
fall into no
categories,
preference.
What's that?
My no preference.
You would. Is he a chicken nugget? He's not.
No, I mean but I'm not Arab.
Huh?
I'm not Arab, so I'm none of the above.
No, but if you
No, but
if
that
you were
would
to
be-
classify yourself based on that,
I'd just
would you
be
be like,
foreigner.
no, based on that, yeah.
Yeah.
Based on that, you'd probably go in the no preference, but you don't even a lot of Khalijis would be no preference. So, I was having a chat with my husband about what he would do, and he doesn't identify with any of that. He's not a chicken nugget, he's not a conservative Khaliji, and he doesn't think he's a cultural Khaliji either. So he would put as, none of the above. So
Oh, interesting.
yeah.
I guess that does peg people quite well together.
okay, well, I think I'm excited for the launch of this app.
Very.
Because I think it's enough is enough when you don't want to be asking your mom or your friends to hook you up and they don't really know what you're looking for. It's like now you can actually choose and because those are the important factors, right?
Yes.
Normally when you ask parents, they just want someone religious.
Oh, really?
Well, if you have a religious
If you have
parent,
religious
a
parents.
religious parent,
She doesn't wear hijab, we're not interested.
What?
She doesn't pray 5 times a day. Yeah, you're not gonna.
you're speaking from experience, to say.
I don't even want to see the pictures of the matches she gives me. I'm like, I'm good. I'll stay single for now.
Oh, really? I didn't know you were getting pictures.
No, she always asks me, don't you want to get married? She's saying, there's this great woman. I was like, if she's great in your point of view, then she's going to be a horrible match for me.
Oh, wow. Tell her about the app.
No, but this is really important because, especially when you meet people, the points that you guys are suggesting in terms of a personality test are things that you do want to know, and it takes time to find out. So you're filtering out the non-compatible people.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing I want to point out, so you know, when we're doing the beta testing, and we were getting a lot of feedback from people, which was great, and we really appreciate it. But you know, we tried to revise or redo the app slightly where we could make changes, but there's a lot of the feedback that we will be taking on board for perhaps phase 2 or phase 3. So you know, because it's going to be an ongoing.
I think that's something people need to keep in mind, and being fair to technology companies.
Yeah.
Facebook's where it is now after billions of dollars, and they have bugs and problems every day.
Exactly. Yeah.
Startups, you're not launching the Ferrari. It's the minimum viable product.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you've built that perfect version, you've launched too late. So I think people need to keep remember that whenever you're using an app, wherever it's made from, it's a startup.
Yeah.
And it's going to have issues like any tech company.
Absolutely.
Google has problems. Facebook has problems.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming on our show. So, what viewers, if you want to get married or interested in marriage or just having a serious relationship, check out Na9eebi.com or go to Instagram Na9eebi account and wait for the launch. It's coming soon. Eman and Eman.
Yeah.
Is that what we're cool, guys? We've got Eman and Eman. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
Best of luck with this launch.
Thank you so much for having us. And please do build your profiles if you can now, so you can get your free subscription when we officially launch. Hopefully either end of this month or beginning of October is what we're looking at.
Time for anyone to subscribe and get the 3 months.
Get some free stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Find your wife for free. Let's do this. don't even have to buy dinner.
Right.
All right, then,
Well,
thanks a lot.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.